Extreme Anime Radio.
Is the final stream in October, and it is the final XAR podcast in October. Welcome everybody on this October the 30th, on the eve of All Hallows Eve, if that makes any sense. I'm JR, and I'm joined by pretty much everybody tonight. Let's start with my partner in crime, home to the black screen tonight, Mr. Neff Canuck. Hello, sir.
Hello, and of course, with it being All Hallows Eve, I thought it would be appropriate to be sitting alone in the dark, maybe.
Oh boy, we're gonna allude to that here in a moment. But first, since this is the Halloween show, we have a few more people to introduce, such as Shinigami Liz. Hello, Liz.
Hello, hello.
How are things in your neck of the woods?
Spooktacular.
Spooktacular. There's a nephism right there. Spooktacular. Nice.
Ouch.
And you see his reaction there. We also have Bree. Hello, Bree. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you doing over there?
Okay, considering.
Yep. Caldeth has ads. I apologize, Caldeth, if you have ads, and that's why you should subscribe. And then there's the laughter right there of Karam. Hello, Karam, and welcome to the show.
Oh, hello.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm peachy. Just trying to chill.
I hear you. We also have one more guest allegedly joining us later on in the show, Neff. Do you know anybody who might be joining us?
Well, all I can tell folks is there's a rattling coming from the closet. I'm sitting alone in the dark. I'm scared.
Uh-oh. Yes. Don't worry, Neff. You'll get through it somehow. This is the Extreme Anime Radio tradition. Ever since we stopped broadcasting on XAR, we've still held a few traditions over the years. And one such tradition is on evenings like tonight, once a year, we bring the count out of the closet to spook us, right?
Well, not so much as we bring him out as he breaks out, uses me as a late night snack, and then terrorizes all of you.
So, let's see here. I'm looking a little bit weird here on the camera. By the way, I have a brand new light. Let there be light. Ooh, how do I look, Neff?
As I said when we were off air, you're a lot brighter than I am, Gungadin.
Gungadin?
Dated reference number one, folks.
Yeah, I'm going to change something here real quick and see if there's any difference here in the way I'm keyed out. Let's see. Maybe we'll go with that. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a little bit of a logo that's showing up on the screen, and that's because of the background that's behind me, unfortunately. Good old NVIDIA doing its not so wonderful job, I guess.
is a rather interesting company. They have all these wonderful products that they push out, some of which are great, some of which are, you paid someone to do this? What?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it looks like you've got one of those.
Yeah. But I will show you real quick. We'll get this out of the way as we start the show tonight. We have brand new artwork, and it's by the artist we work with from Mexico every so often, Yami of Dancing Sarah and Dancing Yumemi, as Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter dressed up like the Disney characters. So we hope this brings some Halloween cheer to you guys. Thank you, Yami, or should I say muchas gracias. We're going to be sharing this artwork on our social media platforms coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow being Halloween. And unfortunately, I think that's why we're seeing Yami's art logo here, because it's bleeding through the artwork.
It must be.
Right. So we're here, and because this is a special occasion, like I said, we brought everybody here. We have Liz and Bree and Karam. I did invite a couple of others, but I don't know if they're going to show up. If they do, somebody can give me a heads up and let me know, and we'll see how they're doing. But yes, Neff, are you ready for Halloween?
Enough. They've said at the office, if you want to come to the office dressed up, you can. Small problem, because I also have an appointment with my car dealership to put on my winter tires when it's supposed to be 68 Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius tomorrow.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Stupid is another, but the best part is 68 degrees tomorrow. And maybe, I'm trying to do the math really quick in my head, somewhere around 48 for the high tomorrow, or for Friday. So from 68 to 48.
Okay.
That's gonna be one hell of a crash.
So that's Fahrenheit, 68 to 48. Yeah, I think it's the high over here in the city's gonna be like in the upper 70s all week.
Oh, okay. I'm going, wait a minute. We're having Halloween, and after Halloween comes, your favorite time of the year. Me, I'm like, okay, let's get past Veterans Day and Remembrance Day, and then that's my cutoff personally, but that's just me.
Gonna have to enjoy our little Halloween get together in short sleeves, kind of like what I'm wearing tonight.
Yeah. Again, I'm in my work clothes, so it's like long sleeve shirt, etc., which is all well and good in the office because at least the air conditioning is still running. The air conditioning ain't running here, folks.
Oh no, that's because they automatically switch it no matter what the weather is, right?
Well, they don't have a choice because our system only does heat or chilling, not both. See, more modern systems can do both at the same time, but of course that leads to the question of why would you want to chill something if you're in December? But then again, with the weather we've been having, who knows what December is going to be like?
Yeah. Well, let's go around the room. Let me start with you, Liz. I'm sure you have big plans for tomorrow. Would you tell us why?
Tomorrow is the waifu's birthday. On Halloween of no other date.
Well, congratulations and happy birthday in advance to Michelle.
Thank you.
So,
we're gonna have a little pizza party, and unfortunately she does have to work, but at least she's off at noon, so
yeah. There you go. So you're really for the All Hallows Eve in your neck of the woods for sure.
Definitely.
And what about you, Karam? Any special plans?
No, I'm just dressing up for work. I'll take a picture tomorrow at work and post it in here.
Okay.
You'll like it. Everyone here will know what it is.
Oh boy. I think you might have posted before, so I have an idea. And Bree, what about you?
Oh yeah, I have work tomorrow, and there's a chance of a little bit of snow. So
What? Wow.
Ooh.
we'll
That's too
see.
mean.
Everybody wants to snow. You got to send snow to everybody, Bree. It sounds like.
I don't want it. You can have it.
Oh, thank you very
Okay,
much.
Well, when I was a very little Nefkaduck, we used to have snow on Halloween, which meant that we had to sort of be very inventive with our costumes or risk freezing.
Oh, we could do the typical thing around here. You could take all the snow and send it to Canada.
White powder crossing the border into Canada. Gee, that sounds familiar.
Well, as we prepare for Halloween, we go around and see what's been happening around the world. And something I'm going to bring to everybody's attention right now is something that literally broke off the wires a few hours ago before we came on the air from good old Nintendo Land, or specifically Nintendo of America, because I think the press release came from Redmond, Washington. That's where they're based, right?
Yep.
So I'm calling it Extreme Nintendo Radio.
And I'm calling it one heck of a bunch of DCMA strikes for anybody who uses any Nintendo music on any social media platform.
Oh, so you think those trap hits and lo-fi Zelda tunes are gonna go by the wayside? You're that critical, huh?
This is Nintendo we're talking about, and you know how protective they are of their IP, especially when their IP is making them money.
Mm-hmm. IP, intellectual property. So let me go ahead and I'm going to read off the press release here, and then everybody can, draw their own opinions. Let's see. With the Nintendo Music app, which will be available later today. Now, considering that it came out after the stock market closed, and there is a time difference to Japan, it is quite possible when they say later today, they may mean sometime tomorrow or somewhere in between, because I looked on the App Store and I couldn't find it yet. Nintendo Music. Listen to soundtracks across nearly 40 years of Nintendo history, offered at no additional cost for anyone with a Nintendo Switch Online membership. So if you have an online membership, like everybody in this room does, you'll be able to download and stream music for free. Let's see. From the iconic beats of Super Mario Brothers and the ground soundscapes of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, to the tentacle-tapping tunes of Splatoon 3, exclusively for Nintendo Switch Online members. And they go on to say you can stream songs right from the app or download them to the app for offline listening. Ooh, boy.
Pardon me while I somewhat fail to be impressed, because unless you have a very, very large memory card,
Exactly.
Nintendo, yikes.
No, not on your Nintendo, on your phone or wherever you're accessing it from.
Well, I don't know. From what how you describe that, I'm going, wait a minute. Does it sound like they're actually letting you play it anywhere else but a Nintendo Switch? Because I don't think, not the way I'm thinking.
This is on the app. This is where they're doing it on.
Yeah, but on the app. But I'm saying, is the app not on the Switch? Or are they saying it's an app for iOS or Google Play?
iOS or Google Play. It says you can stream songs right from the app or download them to the app for offline listening.
Oh, okay. Then I was misunderstanding, because I thought they were putting an app on the Switch.
Right.
And you download the music to that, which would make sense as far as Nintendo, how they like to have a closed loop with their properties, right?
Right.
But if they're actually allowing this, I'm going,
Yeah.
might be interesting. Might also be a problem because, of course, not all of us have, unlimited storage space on our phones or, fast enough internet to actually download enough stuff.
Yeah. And now, as I continue on here, the more I read this press release, the more I'm like, is this something I could actually, set and forget and fall asleep to when it's time to go to bed? Let's see here. You can search for songs by game title, track name, playlist name, or even browse by screenshot. Need background music while you work or study, Neff? You can loop songs or extend select tracks to 15, 30, or 60 minutes for uninterrupted listening. No need to worry about game spoilers either, because you can filter out soundtracks that may spoil certain moments for you.
I am going to say, wait a minute, that press release infringes on my intellectual property. Wait a minute here.
Says the original creator of background noise for how many hundreds of episodes?
300 plus.
Yeah, my goodness. Find your favorite songs, build personal playlists you can share with others, or browse curated playlists created by Nintendo. You'll also receive recommendations based on your Nintendo Switch play activity. So apparently in one of these articles, I heard Animal Crossing. So Karam, that's right up your alley. Oh, did we
It
lose?
sure is. Oh no, it sure is.
It sounds like it kind of reminds me of the, when Animal Crossing was quite popular back in the days, COVID. There was this add-on you can add to your Google Chrome browser, an extension which would allow you to stream Animal Crossing music onto your computer, wherever you are accessing the browser from, and you can select by time of day and weather, just like in the real game.
My first question is, are they going to actually keep updating it, or is it going to be like just a bunch of tracks and then they're going to just let it molder?
Right.
That's the one danger I see here, especially because they own a lot of music rights. That's fine, but there are also a number of titles where I'm going, you don't own the music rights to this stuff. We're never going to hear this.
Right.
At least not through your service.
Right. But I've seen some responses on our Discord, including Junji, who's saying, well, I don't think it's worth it unless they have A, B, C, and D tracks. Well, I think it's going to be a potpourri, like they say. They claim it's going to be 4 decades, which means, are we going to be hearing some 8-bit corners? Junji, wink, wink. That was his segment on Analog when we had a radio station. 8-bit corner, curated 8-bit music airing on the station and whatnot.
Okay, now 8-bit music is going to sound really, really weird on our nice, expensive headphones or stereo systems or car stereo systems, what have you. It's going to be like, wait a minute, this sounds like crap. But we used to enjoy this because it was all we knew.
Yes. Now I'm also wondering if it's going to be like, can I ask it to play like soothing Legend of Zelda music to sleep to?
Yes.
Let's see. Bree, would you download something like this?
I mean, I love music, so why not? I would try it.
Yeah. But I think I can understand where Neff is coming from, because it's a cool online thing. It's brand new. Everybody's going to go to it. And I think it's just going to be like Threads, Instagram Threads. It becomes popular, then all of a sudden, what happened to it? And maybe there'll be like a rise and fall just like that. Liz, what is your take on this new Nintendo Music app?
I think it's a neat idea, but there's this little thing called Spotify that is probably going to overshadow it.
Which I've still never tried yet, and I still have to get my hands on one of those memberships if I want to listen to stuff in the background, because I keep getting these offers from Spotify to sign up. So maybe by the time Black Friday comes around, maybe I'll get the best offer in town again. But that is another good point. How is it going to compete with Spotify?
To be quite honest, I don't know how, because Spotify has basically cornered the market in terms of integration with most every consumer, sound device that there is out there. And if Nintendo is only allowing, for example, okay, your iOS and your Google Play, that's all well and good. But for example, let's say you're in your car. Unless they have, for example, in my case, a CarPlay compatible version of this app, I ain't going to be able to use it. Because I got to concentrate on driving, right? I can't be grabbing my phone. In fact, if I was to grab my phone while I'm driving and a cop sees me, That's 6 demerit points.
6 demerit points out of how many before they take your license away?
15 total. 6 demerit points is an immediate letter from the ministry going, hey, stupid. So it's like, no, you do not want to get to 6 points on your first go round.
Right. And I'm, just to, wrap up this particular topic, some of the titles that'll be included so far: Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Kirby, Pikmin, Metroid, and Donkey Kong.
Original Donkey Kong from back in the day. I'm trying to remember the original 8-bit, and I'm going, I don't remember much of that music. It was such a long time ago.
Right. But, if there's anything like the Donkey Kong music we just heard playing Super Mario Party Jamboree, wasn't that fun?
Fun, until, things start happening, including me not being able to roll much above like a 5 most of the time. It's like, okay, me and Dice apparently are not having a good night tonight.
But no, that raceway we played yesterday, that threw us all for a loop, literally.
Literally, figuratively, and speculatively. Wow.
And Liz, who was the big winner? Was it you?
Yeah, it was me.
Yes. And actually, I remember it was a tiebreaker on, because I earned a pity star at the very end because I think that, I had a tough time getting through the course. But I think you beat Neff on coins by like 10 coins, right?
Yeah, it was a close call.
But no, I'm hearing these things about reading some of these reviews. The new Super Mario Party Jamboree is so stale. And so far, I don't find it that way. How about you?
I've enjoyed it so far. I really enjoyed that raceway track that we played.
And the pit stop especially. I think that helped everybody out in the long run.
Yeah, that was a really neat feature. Getting all your items filled up for what was it, like 10 coins?
10 coins, yeah. All your spaces, yeah. Neff, you're about to say?
No, I was going to say, I thought it was a very interesting, and then the dynamic of adding like a partner was an interesting twist to it. Although I will say this, the way to add the partner is interesting, yet can really be difficult for some folks, as I found out when we tried to add, Donkey Kong. It's like, no, rhythm games, no.
We did turn off the motion games, and I like that you have that ability to do that.
Yes, well, thank you for that. But it was more like, okay, the timing of the rhythm games, like, no. Maybe if I wasn't, like getting tired at night, and it's like, sure, if I was bright and early in the morning, I might be able to do this. This late at night, nope.
And then we had the pro rules that we looked at the start of the stream that I could now opt in for if I wanted to, and I alluded that to like the gaming version of Super Mario Party.
Yeah, that was when they say pro, those were some very intense rules, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think unless we're ready to really tackle something like that, we just stick to the tried and true rules. Although, what do you think, Neff, of the length of the games? We've had longer games before with more turns, and now our games so far have been limited to 10 turns. Do you think that's just right?
Well, I think it also depends on the size of the track. You see, that's the other problem. Because don't forget, that course yesterday was rather large, right? So I think if it had been a 15 or 20 turn track, you would have been looking at, a good 2.5 hours at least. Which is fine as long as you're okay with doing that for 2.5 hours and you have the time to do that.
All right. I know, Karam, you've been playing a lot because they have one player versus computer modes for the party boards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And
It's how you the Sumo too.
We tried to find that at the end of the stream yesterday. How does one get there?
I think you need to unlock all the boards
Oh.
or something, because I was trying to Google search it, but a YouTube video, but it wasn't very useful.
Okay, so if I were to
It just
if I were to do solo play, or we do more group plays and we play all the boards, or at least I play all the boards on my end, that will unlock it, you saying?
I don't know. It said you needed like 30 stars, and I'm like, 30 stars? How do you get 30 stars?
Oh,
Then I watched YouTube videos, the racetrack one, that says that's where it's at. Like, it just appears. And you're not in your car, but you can walk around on the board.
what?
That's what YouTube showed me. I can send it to you, but I was just like, that makes no sense.
Well, let me ask, Bree, I think you've been trying it too. What have you found out?
Well, on the solo play, the side game, you have to get 30 stars to win the board, basically. And you go against the boss.
I see. So is that where where they would come into play? So that's something one has to do on their own. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you have to do it on your own.
I know what we'll all be doing.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Exactly. But speaking of sumo, Bree, we have another tournament to look forward to, don't we?
We sure do.
We sure do. And we talk about sumo from time to time on the podcast, and the recent rankings just came out. And the young Ono Sato is now at the second highest rank of Ozeki. We're looking forward to seeing how he does as the sumo tournament makes its annual trip to Kyushu. Kyushu is the southernmost of the four main Japanese islands, and it's always been on my bucket list, especially during the colder months where you can go to Kyushu, and it's pretty nice down there. They have some good places to visit, a lot of nature, a lot of fancy trains, and few popular hot springs there as well. And then every year in November, the sumo wrestlers in Japan make their way to the Fukuoka arena to watch 15 days of wonderful competition. We have some new promotions, including some of our favorite wrestlers, Wakamoto Haru and his brother, Waka Takakage. And I bet Neff cannot say that 3 times fast.
Both names at the same time? No.
No.
Not gonna try. Although, now that you mention it, I did find that Fubo TV in Canada, they're about a month behind. So, in terms of the sumo tournaments. So, the sumo tournament we watched a bit of when we were in Chicago, I can now watch on a replay basis. So, I'm guessing they're about a month behind before they actually show it.
Okay.
It's a different presentation, and the announcers are, I don't want to say loud, but if I had to choose between them and the NHK broadcasts, I'll take the NHK broadcasts. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, the NHK broadcasts are very, very good, and you'll get your daily dose of sumo in 28 minutes or less. But there are other ways that Bree and I use, because one drawback about watching the NHK is that their recaps are always 1 day behind. Whereas the method we use, we can watch them right away. So no waiting an extra day to see what happens and stuff. We're pretty much right on target with that. So,
well, I mean, I just laugh because I'm going, okay, excuse me, there are now several ways to watch, but it's more a question of, okay, how delayed are you willing to watch?
Right. In your case, a month, but you already know what happens, so that gives me, you know what that reminds me of, actually? ESPN, many years ago, I don't know what their version of the wide world of sports was, but whatever show that was, they did their own sumo highlights, and it was Jack Edwards hosting, and they did like one tournament in the span of 30 minutes or something like that.
One tournament in the span.
Yes.
That must have been like just push, click. Like I can't see how you do a full tournament just in 30 minutes. That's
right.
bonkers.
Then again, this being 90s, early 2000s, and this was a time in sumo where you had several American-born born in U.S. territories. Like I think there was one from American Samoa who made their way up the sumo ladder. Got up to the ranks of Ozeki and Yokozuna. So that, if anything, that's why I think there might have been some interest back then, just because those guys went up so high in the rankings.
Which makes perfect sense. I mean, back in that time, there was a WWF wrestler who was a Yokozuna originally before joining the WWF. And I saw they archived a few of his matches. And it was quite interesting because to watch him actually go through and do, and perform as a sumo wrestler, and then to see what he did in the WWF, it was sort of like, okay, I guess I think you took the job you're more suited for. Let's put it that way.
I'm trying to remember who that was.
Well, he was wrestling under the name of Earthquake. His
Oh,
real name was John Tenta.
Yes, got it.
Yeah.
So there was a quote unquote sumo match between Earthquake and one of the Anoa'i family members who played Yokozuna.
Yeah, who wrestled as Yokozuna. So I can vaguely remember that match. I'm going to try and find that match because I think there was a screwy ending to that because, of course, good guy never wins these type of things.
Yeah.
But I'm just going, okay, because Tenta at least would have known the procedures, the thing, and he could still probably do it because by the time you leave the sumo, I'm sure it's like ingrained, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you'll never forget all the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas opposed to that particular Hanoi family member, I don't know that they ever did professionally wrestle at sumo at all.
I don't think so. No.
It was just all a gimmick from the get-go for him.
Right. That's something I gotta look up. That's something Bree and I can look up more about after the show. That's very interesting, and I forget that. Yeah.
Mm.
So, but that has to have been like a long time ago then.
Oh yeah, that was, as I said, I want to say like 1990 or so that he debuted in the WWF. So he would have been doing sumo in the mid 80s, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
I'm gonna look this up real quick. John Tenta. Let's see. He's Canadian from Surrey.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he participated in professional sumo under the name Koto Tenzan. Wow. And he won. Yeah. Wow. Check this out, Bree. He debuted in November of 85. He won 3 championships, and then he retired. So he won 3 lower divisions. The 3 lower divisions, Jonokuchi, Jonidan, Sandame. He went up to Makushita, and then he's like, I'm out. Or that's what I'm gathering, at least. My goodness.
I'm guessing personally that the sumo life wasn't necessarily for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he came back to North America, he went into wrestling and that was his niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although the funny thing was, when he was brought into the WWF, he was originally played as a heel or bad guy.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that because everybody was afraid of him. Everybody booed him. He didn't like that. When he turned face or good guy, that was the happiest time he had ever in the WWF because it's like, look, everybody cheers me, everybody loves me. I like this.
Yeah.
I don't like playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because when he debuted, he actually kayfabe injured Hulk Hogan. Because he had been brought in as a person from the crowd.
Yeah.
That was the gimmick back in the day. And I think it was Hogan was trying to do sit-ups with him on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 2 or 3 sit-ups, and then all of a sudden Tenta drops on him.
Yeah.
And keeps dropping. and then proceeds to do his earthquake shtick and do the rib injury thing to Hogan.
So, yes, January 1986 won the championship. March of 86 won the championship. May of 86 won the championship, and then he retired. And then, as you say, according to the Wikipedia article, due to the difficulty of sumo lifestyle and the toll the hard-ring surfer was taking on his body. But then there's also a story here about he had a tattoo.
Well, that could obviously be a part of it as well, because, of course, as we know, in Japan, tattoos are like a no-go.
Right.
Absolutely no-go. Although they are, getting a little looser on that from what I understand. I mean, it's still in some places, very much no. If you have ink, out you go.
Yeah.
Especially because they think you're Yakuza.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I always find hilarious because someone like me would walk in with a few tattoos on his arm. They'd go, "You're not Yakuza. Not even close."
But yes, as we were saying though, I'm very looking forward to seeing what's happening in sumo. We're watching more Kenshin, Bree and I. We watched the 4th episode the other day, didn't we?
We did.
So that's 4th episode of the 2nd season, I should say. Neff, have you started watching that?
Not yet. I'm still trying to get caught up on Ranma and a couple of other things. I mean, part of my problem was my Apple TV. I finally got annoyed with it being slow and clunky and said, okay, look, I have points. I get a free upgrade. I'm just going to get the latest box because it was dealing with a few other issues as well. But then I forgot, even though Apple makes it in theory simple to migrate from box 1 to box 2, the problem is the migration of the programs was perfect. Everything stayed in its proper folders, no issues. But then you have to sign into absolutely everything all over again. And then I remember why I hate using a box. Because the passwords, I mean, you can use a phone, it makes it a little bit easier. But it's still cut and paste. Click this. Okay, now I'm back in. Now I have all my settings again.
So I'm surprised Apple passkeys, passcodes, however you call it, don't work in that end.
Well, at least I couldn't get them to work. I had to go through the cut and paste process using my phone as the as the source for the passwords to the Apple TV. I will say this as well: the Apple TV, the 4K version, at least, it seems that the audio codecs and the video compression codecs are a bit more advanced. Because it was able to decode some over-the-air broadcasts that my old Apple TV would struggle with. It would basically say I couldn't, handle the data, I couldn't the video, I couldn't handle the audio, what have you. But this new box, it's like, great. So now I have a bunch of over-the-air channels again that you can't even legally get in Canada. But because they spill over the border and they haven't figured out how to stop the signals at the border, great.
Yeah. Let me ask you, because something else Bree and I have been watching is Ranma 1/2. And the reason is because, what is it? Bree was away on business for a few days. She had a hotel room, and the only thing you had was Netflix, right, Bree?
Yeah, I only had Netflix. I couldn't connect my laptop to the internet.
But the Netflix was the impetus for us to start watching Ranma 1/2 ourselves. So, Bree, your take so far. Do you like Ranma 1/2?
I like it. I'm really enjoying the art style. It's kind of like a more modern spin on the old art.
You know what? It reminds me of the reboot of Urusei Yatsura.
I could see that.
In a way, yeah. But now we're going to ask, let me see. Liz, have you seen the original Ranma 1/2 and the new one by any chance?
I've seen a couple episodes of the old one. I have not seen any of the new one yet.
Okay, no worries. Then I will ask Neff, because I know he's watched both. And if you had a preference right now between the one airing now and the one airing years ago, which would you prefer?
See, my problem is, and I'll say this quite honestly, I'm stuck on the Canadian voice cast of the original. Because the Canadian voice cast of the original went on to some much bigger things, right? So it's always funny to hear them back then in their younger voices and then hear them as, you know, you go through the decades and you're going, oh my God, some of them are still working. Others have, you know, moved on to other things, but it's more like, oh, wow. I mean, David Kaye, Clunk,
Yep.
and a few other names that escape me at the moment. But the new cast, I think they really do a good job with what they're given. I will say this. I mean, because the new art style is completely computer graphics, right? It's not hand drawn. It does seem a little slicker, if that's a, you know, appropriate way to say it. But I don't think it hurts the actual story, because what they did is, if you've seen the original and you watch the new one, they have chopped out a lot of what you would consider quote unquote filler, right? Now, some people will argue that the filler makes the show, but I'm of the opinion that if it's too much filler, it's just like, you mean I gotta watch all this filler to get to actual plot? Like, no, I just want to watch the plot.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I think it's very interesting. I see where you're coming from, and I think I mean, I remember bits and pieces of the old Ranma 1/2, and I can see, you know, where they take some of the elements and bring it into the new series. Now, how many episodes is that going for? Do we know?
I want to say at least I know it had at least a full season order, but I don't know if it got 2 seasons automatically or not.
I'm going to check right now.
I'm not sure on that.
Let's see. We're going to check. Let's see. Media. First and second anime. Third anime series. And it's going to be. Doesn't say.
Let's see here.
Because they've coded it into the main Ranma 1/2 article. There's no separate article yet about number of episodes.
Hold on, I think I might have something here. Hold on. Let's see here. Ranma anime series. Let's see. Nope, this one does not have an episode count in it.
All right. But anyway, no, very nice to see everything, and it looks like a simul release, which means after it airs in Japan, it goes straight to Netflix, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, especially because they're dubbing it in so many languages as well. They're really pushing, you know, getting it out there in all these languages at the same time.
Yeah, and that's one thing that always trips me up without fail, is that when we finish the episode and we're looking at the closing credits of Ranma 1/2, I'm asking Bree, is there anything after the credits? And she's like, no, because after the credits is like 3 minutes of all the credits of all the people who dubbed the anime.
and all the various languages, and you're just going, oh dear, they were busy.
Yeah. But no, something to enjoy in the weeks ahead. Ranma 1/2, always a great series. 8:47 is our time. I think, without fail, it may be time. Nev has that look. Is everybody in the room ready to greet the count?
Yep.
Someone's knocking.
Uh-oh. You hear that knock, Neff? Are you ready to do this?
Well, I'm not ready to become a late night snack, but it's showbiz, folks.
All right, so let's put up the asbestos screen. The asbestos screen is up. This is the same screen that we put up when this happened last year, and this is also part of the tradition because the count is a radio voice, which means we don't see him. So with that in mind, Neff, please summon the count.
Good evening, kiddies. this is the Count, and I'm happy to be here on the Extreme Anime Radio podcast.
Oh, welcome, Mr. Count. It's been a year, hasn't it? How have you been?
Well, you could say I'm a little low on blood.
Oh boy. Well, you're ready because your big day's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. I'm so positive about it.
Yes. So, I have to tell you, how are you getting around up there? Is your transportation okay?
Well, you could say with an electric car, I have a rather big battery.
Oh boy. I had to take my car to the repair shop because I had to get a whole new set of wheels. My wheels were all tired.
Oh dear. Did
No?
that take a bite out of your wallet?
Yes, it did. I tried to make a joke, but of course, nobody can make jokes as good as you, Mr. Count.
Well, when you're locked in a closet for as long as I am every year, you tend to get a little inventive in your mind.
Well, why don't we go around the room here and we'll give our greetings to the Count. Liz, what would you like to say to the Count?
I hope you have a bloody good Halloween.
I like her. Can I keep her?
Whoa. She just got married, Count.
Now I know I've been in the closet too long.
Yes, it's been a whole year. You've missed out on a lot.
Right. Did the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup this year?
No. We can see where your allegiance lies. Maybe you'll have to take a bite into the ice up at Scotiabank, eh?
Ooh, that would be great, but it's bloody expensive.
Let's see. Karam, would you like to give your greetings to the Count?
Well, hello, Count. Are you looking forward to getting any candy, or would you prefer blood?
Why don't we combine the two in bloody candy?
Exactly.
They do sell those types of things, don't they?
Bloody candy.
Well, let's see. Oh boy, that is another question, Mr. Count. What is your bloody cuisine looking like for tomorrow?
Well, I have to make a withdrawal at the blood bank soon. So I'll be doing that tomorrow, early in the morning, before the sun is up.
And then, let's see, Bree, do you have any questions, some burning questions for the Count tonight?
Well, are you ready to spread the fright?
I'm always ready to spread the fright. It's one of the delightful... Pardon me, I'm a little tongue-tied. I think I bit my tongue when I came out of the closet.
Well, it's always a special time, and let's see. You've given us some wisdom in the past, Mr. Count. What sort of wisdom would you like to impart on us this year?
Remember, kiddies, be alert, because you want to stay alive. Especially now that it's getting darker at night, and I get to go out at night.
Do you change clocks in the closet like we do in most other parts of the United States?
Well, yes, of course. My favorite cuckoo clock has to change this weekend.
Oh no. So anything special in that regard?
Well, I have a very special cuckoo clock. It's not a cuckoo that comes out. It's a bat.
Oh boy, how batty. Ah, boy.
Well, you could say it's a bit of a wombat.
We're going down under then. So let's see, Mr. Count. In a little while, when the podcast is over, maybe we just continue the podcast like this. In a while, when we have to say goodbye to you for another year, we're going to be doing some Mad Libs. Now, are you a fan of Mad Libs, Mr. Count?
Could say I find them a bit of a pain in the neck, but I don't mind a Mad Lib now and then.
Oh boy. Well, what do you say, folks? Should we do a Mad Lib with the Count right now?
Ooh, let's do it.
Let's go.
We have the votes, so I think, Mr. Count, we're going to, in your deference, I'm going to turn to the back of the page here, all the way to the back. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to see if I can find some stories about. Oh, here we go. I think I found the perfect one for you, Mr. Count. So, being that I know the topic, I'm going to disqualify myself, and we're going to just go around the room. And Mr. Count, I would like you to help me here with a few words. Are you ready?
I'm always on point.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well then, Mr. Count, the first thing I have up here is a silly word. Do you have a silly word for me?
Gesundheit.
Ooh. It's going to be a good one. Okay. Now I'm going to go around and ask some of the others. So I'll start with Bree. Bree, something alive.
A bat.
A bat. Well, there you go, Mr. Count. That's one in your corner right there.
One of my cousins, perhaps.
Liz, how about a verb? So an action word.
Grab.
Okay. Karam, your turn. Another verb.
Sucking.
Okay. I think I will change that to the present particle, or however you call it. Mr. Count, I need a plural noun, please. A plural noun.
Steaks.
Dates.
No, steaks. As in bloody.
Steaks. Oh. That's one thing that's one thing also, Mr. Count, that's happened in the last year. I've been losing my hearing.
Oh dear.
So let's see, Bree, I think it's your turn. A place, plural.
Mm,
Did you say it, or I didn't hear you?
I didn't say airports.
Airports. Because Discord can also be a little wonky. That's something that hasn't changed in the last year either. Liz, a plural noun?
Eyeballs.
Eyeballs. We got some good words here. Karam, a type of food.
Pizza.
Did you say meatball?
Pizza.
Pizza. Wow. Mr. Count, I need an adjective.
Adjective. Remind my batty brain, what is an adjective again?
Something that describes a person, place, or thing. Like a descriptor for a noun.
Ghastly.
Ghastly.
Ooh.
Okay. Bree, a part of the body.
The brain.
The brain.
Ooh.
Another adjective, Liz.
Slimy.
Slimy.
Yeah.
Karam, an animal.
Oh, goat.
Goat. Okay. Mr. Count, a part of the body.
the neck.
Wow. Okay. Noun, Bree.
Candy.
Candy.
Yum.
Okay. Liz, another part of the body.
Toenail.
Okay.
Ow.
Karam, a noun.
Cat.
Cat?
Yeah.
Cat. That's what you said. C-A-T?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Mr. Count, if it's all right with everybody in the room, I'm going to give Mr. Count the last two. A verb in the past tense, which means a verb from, happened in the past.
Dying.
Okay. We'll change that to died. And finally, Mr. Count, a celebrity.
Ooh.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Now, unfortunately, Mr. Count, there are some text that I think it will be better if you said it, but you don't have this in front of you, so I'm going to do my very best, okay? So this
Take a
is...
bite.
No, this is called Halloween Bites. That is the name of this, Halloween Bites. So again, Mr. Count, right up your alley.
Sounds tasty.
Good evening. I am the vampire, Count Gesundheit. You would think that because I am a bat of the night, Halloween would be my favorite time of year. But the truth is, vampires grab Halloween. Usually when people see me, they suck and run away. Let me continue. But on Halloween, children dressed as snakes wander the airports, holding out their little hands, demanding eyeballs. If I do not give them pizza, they pull a trick on me, like pouring some ghastly on my brain. One time I became so slimy, I turned into a goat and tried to bite their necks. I want to suck your candy. I hissed as I showed them my toenails. But the dreadful little children thought I was just wearing a cat. And they died at me. On nights like these, I wish I was Taylor Swift instead of a vampire.
Oh dear.
Well, Mr. Count, was that up to your satisfaction?
Well, first of all, regarding your accent, don't give up your day job.
Well, thank you, yes.
But that was a fun little story. Although, I don't think I'd like to be Taylor Swift, to be honest with you.
No, I think if we spoke about Taylor Swift here, we'd be here for more than, the allotted time. But speaking of the allotted time, Mr. Count, I think it's time to bid adieu to you for another season, if you will. And it's been a pleasure for you to come on once again here on the Extreme Anime Radio podcast and tell us what's been going on with your life and even doing a Mad Lib with us.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a great way to rise from the dead.
Let's go around the room one more time to give our blessings to you. Karam, any words of advice you'd like to give to the Count before we have to put him back into the closet?
Take plenty of blood back with you.
And Bree?
Farewell. Don't get into a food coma.
Oh. And Liz?
Hashtag refrigerated coffin.
Oh boy. Do you like refrigerated coffins?
Oh, when you think about it, being cold and dead is quite relaxing.
Mr. Count, once again, thank you. Is there any parting words you would like to give to us?
Once again, kiddies, be on the lookout tomorrow night. Cross the street only when it's clear to do so. And remember, have your parents look at your candy. But don't let them eat it all. Save some for me.
Farewell, Mr. Count. Farewell until next time. Goodbye. And while we wait for the count to be locked in the closet, I will go ahead with the closing commentary in lieu of Neft. If you'd like to reach us, the information is on your screen. You can email us extremeanimeradio@gmail.com or reach us on social media. All the links are at linktree.com/animeradio. We are also on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, Discord, YouTube, and the podcasting form in Audioland, xarpodcast.net. And once again, our mascots, Sarah Yoshida and Yumemi Butai, are on Instagram at XAR Mascots. So be sure to join in with them. Okay, now I think I can lower this screen. You're back, sir. You just missed some wonderful fun.
I didn't miss that much. You might have noticed that I was, had my neck fully buttoned up when we started. My neck isn't buttoned up anymore. And I think I'm a liter lighter.
Oh man, you missed a big conversation about, spooky Mad Libs and refrigerated coffins.
Don't give him ideas about refrigerated coffins. The sound of the compressor would keep me awake all night long.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're going to, I think, do a few of these more Mad Libs here. But as far as the podcast is concerned, that is going to do it. And we'll probably do another podcast later in November because this will be the last stream we do for October. Obviously, tomorrow, everybody's celebrating Halloween, which means we will not be on the air. And then for the majority of next week, I do have a combination of Election Day, which I don't have to worry about because I voted early this week, as well as a few other people here in the room, which was awesome. I would normally do it on Election Day, but unfortunately, I have a situation of some medical things that are coming up around Election Day for me that I have to address. Things that guys my age normally do when reaching my age. So we're going to leave it at that.
I'm betting I know what it is. Been there, done that. Blech.
Yeah. So the prep work for that is on Election Day. So I'm like, I better do this and get it out of the way. So
I'm sorry, the jokes write themselves.
Well, I tell you. So
timing is everything.
So now there is a possibility that at the end of next week we may try to do something, and we may also do some extended streams because I will have nobody to bother for a little bit around the middle of November. So we may do some extended streams. We may plan something for those days. Maybe we'll go back into Ace Attorney, which I think Neff wanted to do the other day. So we will be getting back into Ace Attorney, Neff, I promise you.
Well, no, again, my brain is a bit rotted these days, and it's more like, I thought, that was dumb.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I can show you before we go off the air? If you're watching us, this is another reason why if you're listening to us and you want to see what we're doing, please follow us on Twitch and YouTube. Our Twitch replays are available immediately. YouTube, we have to wait at least 24 hours before we can post there. But what I am going to do is, if I can find it on my computer, I am going to give you a little bit of a preview of what we are going to bring you soon, hopefully. So if I go over here and try to load the screen capture, we have a brand new plane for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we've been putting it through some of the tests. And yes, I give unto you the plane. And here it is.
Ooh.
An MD-11 labeled Yumemi YUM3MI. This is, can you guess the plane, Neff?
Plane. No, I can't.
Okay. This is an MD-11, McDonnell Douglas MD-11. It is a 3-engine plane, which you rarely see anymore.
For very good reason, actually.
Mm-hmm. But this was built, late 80s, early 90s, which was still a time when aviation authorities were like, we're still not very comfortable about flying big planes with only 2 engines across the Atlantic. And it was a mentality that went back to the early days of aviation. No, if one engine were to fail, we want to make sure you can limp to a backup side on the other 2 engines. I think that was the mentality back then. I know Swiss Airlines was a big flyer of these jets, yeah?
Yeah, and there's a story behind one of the last flights I ever took on one of those. Briefly, let's just say the landing in Zurich involves bouncing, my mother sitting beside me, and her almost removing my arm.
Oh, boy.
She was a nervous flyer, and we took 3 bounces until we actually stayed down. The kicker to that was the captain comes on the intercom and says, and I can almost quote this verbatim, "This was my first flight landing here at this airport. How did I do?" Cue half the plane wanting to kill him, including my mother. And my mother, sweet little old lady that she is, was maybe 4'8", but I think she would have broken down the door and gone after the pilot if I hadn't said, "Hey, we're not doing that."
Yeah. But you can see on the plane here, we have the Yumemi stripes and Yumemi in the captain hat, which is done by Picarina, who is an artist who resides in France. So we really appreciate Picarina's hard work on this. And so we have 2 versions. We have the passenger jet, which is American registration November 313 Yankee Bravo. And then we have the cargo plane. Let me see if I can pull up the cargo plane. So here's the cargo plane. And the cargo plane, a lot of these cargo planes that you see now of MD-11s are former passenger jets, like the FedEx planes. Once they've been retired out of passenger service, they convert them into cargo. So now we have an Extreme Anime Radio cargo. And if I can pull up the correct screenshot, Neff, what do you notice about the registration here?
There seems to be a little Canadian flag and a little Canadian registration.
Yes.
C-UMYUME. Cute.
Yes. So that is the proper Canadian aircraft registration is a letter C followed by 4 letters, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's kind of like that in some other popular countries, like in the UK they would start with G. In France they would start with F. So yes, we have our first Canadian registered plane, Neff. Congratulations.
And it's a cargo plane.
Yes.
That's right, folks. Canadians haul ass.
Oh. Wow. So on that note, I think, yes, stay tuned for hopefully a flight simulator stream in the near future in maybe the cargo plane. It depends on whether or not Neff's able to join us. And we can do like a several-hour flight. One of the hard things we can always do with these live streams is the fact that sometimes you don't have a lot of time to do these things. That's when time acceleration comes in. Depending on the aircraft, though, sometimes time acceleration can make these planes a little wonky. Now, there are planes that the developers have time acceleration in mind, which is very good for people who don't have a lot of time on their hands, most being PMDG. So we have one of the earlier Yumemi jets, the 737, which was built with that in mind. But now, Neff, tomorrow, the big alpha release of the Airbus A380 for Flight Simulator. So that's going to be a big challenge, I think.
Okay, when you say alpha release, I'm going, uh-oh. This plane will have trouble staying in the air, folks. I have this bad feeling. But
surprisingly enough, they've made it flyable, and you can do the developers claim. Now, these are developers who did the A32NX, which is an A320, and they did it for free, and they're also doing this for free. Very, very dedicated project. It's on GitHub and everything. You can get all the source code there. And they've promised you can do a decent flight in the A380 from A to B. So we'll see how that works.
From Alberta to Banff. Okay.
Well, we'll see. And if it all works, then that might be the next big skin we put on the plane with our mascots. We have to figure out. We'll have a lot of canvas on the plane to put art. So we got to see what we're going to put there.
Nice.
So thank you to Picarina. Thank you also to Gideon, who also helped with skinning the plane for us with the Yumemi livery. So, yes, we will see you guys in November. If you're watching us live right now, stick around because we are going to continue some Mad Libs. We'll also be recording some of these Mad Libs, and we might post these later. But in the meantime, for Neff and everybody else in the room, Liz, thank you so much for joining us here for the podcast. It's been a while, and hope you had a nice time tonight.
I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Bree, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me as well.
Yes, and happy Halloween to you and to you too, Karam. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Always pleasure to have fun with you guys, especially when we bring it on the podcast. We're probably going to do it again maybe before Christmas. We'll bring everybody back on the podcast so we can do Christmas Mad Libs, which I have sitting in a stack over here in the corner. But for everybody in the room, including Neff, I'm JR. Thanks for listening and watching us. Happy Halloween. And remember,
keep on looking out for the Extreme Mario podcast. And don't forget, archived versions of our podcast are available at xarpodcast.net or your favorite podcasting platform. Good night, everybody.
Happy Halloween. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night. Happy Halloween.
Good night. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. See you next time.